Hey guys, yeah, today's broadcast is gonna be on how to design this dress using Nomadsculpt and Tube tool in it. And let me explain the process. How do I do this? And to be clear, I'm not gonna model this character because uh, it was created to replicate one of my designs from Midjourney. So back in 2022, I tried to create some images using Midjourney, and this is one of them. And recently, I tried to use Gemini to increase its quality, and this is what the results are. You can see how detailed I got it. And I'm trying to replicate this using Nomadsculpt and other tools which I use. I know there is some latency in the video here, but I'll try to make as slow as possible so it doesn't collapse. Okay, let me explain where I got the model from. So I use Magic Poster, and this was the model which I created in the pose. And model poster has an option to export it as a solid 3D model OBJ file, and that's how I imported it into Nomadsculpt. So this is how I got the character. And today's stream is focusing on how to create this dress here. So let me put on some dress, make sure. Okay, I have used this tube tool here to create that dress. Okay, I'm gonna replicate it again so that it's gonna be clear. I'm gonna hide other stuffs. And even before starting this, let me explain the face groups I have here. I split the face groups, and you can see the hand has been separated from the body using a different face group. I also chose different face colors for the right hand and the left hand. And I will explain the reason why I have done that during the process. And also the neck and the head has also been separated to make it easier. The toe is also being separated from the body using different face group. Then we can now add a tube. And it should be in the origin. Let me switch on the grid and hide the character so that it doesn't snaps. It can be left on, but make sure you switch off the snap so that it doesn't snaps on the body. I'm gonna put it somewhere till the lips, and the bottom is till the bottom of the toe. And I can, as you know, you can increase the radius. This is how it is, but I'm going to use a profile in this case. And we can easily create different profiles for the tube. I have created multiple presets, but for this case I'm going to use a circle. Not this one, might be something like this, so I have enough points to play around with. And in the profile, I'm going to use multiple profile option, and I'm going to go copy this and paste it on the end as well. So both the top and the bottom has the same profile. Right. I'm going to lock this and add some extra point. So I'm going to switch on the X-ray so that I can visually see where I'm adding those points. Somewhere in the shoulder, chest, somewhere near the hips, thigh, knee. So these are the profiles I have added. Might be one the bottom as well. So the profile in the top can still be circular, but to have this profile visible, you can switch on this show in viewport. That will help you. And switching off the X-ray mode, I'm gonna hide the face groups, and I'm gonna hide the caps as well. So no caps. Yeah. And multiple radius option is also been activated. So now I can shrink the head. For this case, I'm gonna remove this snapping. Yeah. Start from the bottom. Okay. Let me play around with the radius now. Making sure it doesn't go so much past the actual body. You can see I'm trying to make sure the body fits within the tube. That's the whole aim. And towards the knee, up to the knee, I'm gonna retain the same circular profile, but after that I'm gonna create another point somewhere near the knee, and I'm gonna change the profile slightly. So what I'm gonna do is add some fleets as if the dress is flowing, creating a wavy pattern here. You can see the latency in the video. And try solve that in the next stream. But for now, this looks neat. I'm going to copy this, paste, paste, and paste. That's how it is. I'm going to increase the radius on the bottom. Let me snap it and try to bring it as close to the bottom. Perfect. I'm going to increase more detail to the tube tool, and so it looks as if it is flowing down. Okay. Right. Now that we have it, so I already split the main body with different face groups. So I'm gonna hide the hand, the head, and the toes. Okay. That should be hidden. Yeah, hidden. You can see in solo mode. Okay. I'm gonna create a copy of this tubes tool so that if in case I want to redo certain parts of it, I can use it. Can I hide that? Use the other tube tool. Gonna validate it. You can see in the X-ray mode it is there. It is still enclosing the body. Now that it is done, I'm gonna use the selection mask and use this rectangle tool to select the bottom face. And if you remove the X-ray view, you can see that I have selected the bottom region, and that has been masked. Now in this menu, you can go adjust the scale radius. Gonna increase it slightly and try using from high resolution. This was not enough. I'm gonna slightly increase it further and do it again. Okay. Might be even further. You can see this region here is still away from the body. So undo, slightly further, and do it again. Maybe it is not going to work, I guess. Okay, let's try to solve it using pressing it again. Now it's actually squeezing the other portions. For the time being, we shall leave it out. You can see the neck region has also been projected to the body, so I don't want that to happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this select tool again and select the top neck region. That will make sure the neck doesn't snaps to the body. Now I'm going to use the from high resolution. Yeah, you can see it has gone. What if I had the head available while I'm extracting? So let's say I hide only the hands. And do the same thing. It now snaps neatly to the neck as well, which is actually good for this case. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Now go in solo mode. Using the smooth tool, I'm trying to increase it at somewhere around 1000 and remove the symmetry option and smoothen it. You can see I'm smoothing it too harshly for a time, and you can see it merges with the masked region as well. And I'm gonna smooth this further. Nice. Wireframe mode, you can see how it looks. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is might be, let's try to go back in this mode and clear the hidden region and try to project again. And this time, let's say we reduce the cage radius. It is still snapping to the hands, and that is the reason I was trying to hide the hands when I was snapping. Sorry, when I was projecting. Yeah, you can see as you reduce the cage radius, it doesn't hugs to the hand. And yeah, I didn't see him working nicely. I'm gonna hide these two again. Reproject from the body. Unmask. I'm gonna do that. See how it goes. It didn't work as I expected. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clone this body, and in hide I'm gonna delete and close the holes so that the hand is gonna be closed. Just presume should work, and do the same thing again. Now I'm gonna smooth it again. And this is what we have here. Yeah, while I'm smoothing, I can make sure this doesn't affect the top portion of the body by masking it, and yeah, smooth it again. I'm still having the bottom portion as a mask. region. Reason why is it still has those flow wavy portion which I don't want to be get affected when I'm smoothing. Trying to make sure it doesn't affect the top portion of the body, and yeah, gradually it flows up, increasing the smooth option. Perfect, and this is what I wanted. Now you can go and select this region, smooth it further. Can see the neck is not neat, right? Yeah, that can be solved again. Bear with me. Okay. Now if I go and hide this, what I can do is I can move this portion closer to the neck. Might be to the chin. Now I'm gonna mask the whole bottom section so that it doesn't get affected when I project. I'm gonna do the same, projecting. And yeah, smooth again. Project, smooth again. This one is gonna be done until I get the neck to be perfectly matched. Gonna move it slightly up. From my resolution. Maybe I should move this a bit down so that it doesn't snaps to the face, hugs to the chin. Yeah, there. Let's try it again. Better. Smooth it again. Yeah, and there is some more here. move it further up, so that I have a neck there. I can use a trim tool, but I'm saving it for later. So yeah, I could now go and trim it, but I still believe smooth can solve most of the problems here, which in this case didn't work. So I'm gonna use the smooth for this region. Other than that, anything else? Yeah. Okay, leaving it as it is for time being. I'm gonna save this first so there is a crash on me. Maybe start smoothing from the top edge. Okay, now I get closer to the results, what I'm expecting out of this, closer and closer, and you can see this, the flow of this mesh is starting to get better to around the neck. See in solo view, sorry, removing the solo view, you can see it. And yeah, now we can go in solo view, move this neck slightly higher, and I'm gonna trim it. Using the trim tool, I'm making sure none is selected here, and I'm going to use the polygon method here in this case. Snap both the points and make sure symmetric is not there, and trim it. Save this. We still have things to be smoother in the bottom, so let's clear the mask and smooth the bottom section. Okay. Smooth the bottom section here so I can smoothly transition the top with the bottom. And save this again. I'm gonna use quarter method, removing everything. I don't want any special face groups, and gonna use the same method here. Same, shouldn't take much time. Right. Solo view, you can see this, the flow of the quarter mesh is neat. Even the neck region has been slightly sorted out. Let's smooth it further. Might be too much on this side. Yeah, I'm gonna do it from here. Just quadri measure, same. And I'm going to remove the solo view. You can see the dress is trying to come, but what I had to do was it is hugging too much to the body that it is not looking like a dress. So I need to inflate that region. But if I go and inflate it, it is going to be uneven. Yeah. So what I can do is go select, use the lasso tool here, select this, and use this generic inflate tool, slightly inflate it, not too much, too less, yeah, slightly enough. You can see the X-ray mode, that's what I want. Now if you go in solo mode and clear this mask, you can smooth it out. In the neck region, for time being, I'm gonna leave it as it is because I'm gonna actually introduce another tube there to create a crisp neck. And even the hands, I'm gonna leave it as it is because again I'm gonna introduce another tube just for focusing on both the hands individually. Okay, I'm gonna inflate in certain regions where the body is visible and smoothing it out. There might be a harsh smoothing here. Yeah. Okay, so that's already decent. I'm gonna remesh it again. Same. And now let's paint it with some specific color. And you can see the waves are too much pronounced at this point. It's eventually gonna change. Before that, I wanna create a slit here which flows around. What I mean by the slit is, you can see here this flow. I want to make that, and I want to trim away the excess dress on the floor as well. So what I will do is, this is a simple technique which we can do, which is using a tube tool. Okay, and I'm gonna use the tube here, but in this case I'm gonna draw it over this. So, and use snap method, snap on, making sure it is not on vertices, on surface instead. And you just need to snap onto the surface, on the faces. In the front view, you can see in X-ray view, you can see where I wanted the slit. And it has to be here somewhere. And wherever the tube goes into the dress, make sure you create a point so that it flows over it. And towards the end, I'm making sure it goes out of the dress. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. And I'm going to reduce the radius further. Might be 0.2. Nah, further. 0.05. Did I go too high? Yeah, might be 0.1. That should work. You can see there should be a point here. Yeah. And use another tube. Which just goes, snaps to the surface, and I'm gonna remove the snap so that it doesn't affect when I'm touching this region here. And perfect. And then I can re-enable the snap. I could have used selected the region where I don't want, and I could have deleted it, but I think this method might be easier for certain cases where you want precise location and control over this location. Okay, once this is done, I'm gonna make sure these are all hidden and select the tube, switch on the gizmo, let's spin it so that when I boolean it doesn't. Okay, I can see it has been subtracted from the other body. In phase group menu, we can use just a dot to change the phase group below here, and use the hide tool, hide this, invert this, delete it. Yeah, too much for just a slit. Yeah, I think. And in the top view, you can use the trim tool, just a lasso. Enable this flip. Okay. And smooth it a bit. Oh, let me remove this sticky vertices first. Quad remesh. Save it again. Sometimes quad remesh crashes on me. Save. Yeah, that's where we got here. And unhide. Sorry, hide this, hide the actual body, and clear. Remove this. And yeah. And if you think you want more flow on this or variations, you can use the crease tool and maybe change it. Sorry, I should click on this. Yeah, crease. I'm gonna add some variations here and there. It might look uneven, but that is where the quad remesher helps us solve it. So I'm gonna leave it there and I'm gonna use the quad remesher. Save. What it tries to do is it tries to use the same creases there, and if you see in the wireframe mode, it is trying to accommodate those creases. And slowly, if you use it multiple times, it slowly gets smoothed, and it is not much pronounced as it was when I used the crease tool. And now there are some regions needs to be inflated. Making sure in the wireframe mode. Okay, so this is what we got here today, and maybe I'll focus on how I export this into different tool to create those golden patterns. And might be that is for tomorrow. I'm gonna save this. We shall discuss on that tomorrow. Have a good day, everyone.